This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome in, my friends, to another episode of Behind the Pen. My name is Mike Rankin, and I am your host for today's show. And unlike last week, Sean Anderson and Ricky Widmer took over Behind the Pen for me because I was in sunny Florida getting some sun away from the Chicago nasty weather and the muggy conditions. But it was a lot of fun. I want to thank them for covering me last week. Hope you guys enjoyed that show. They provided a lot of good content, but I'm back and I'm going to show you guys how it's done and why it's my show, and Behind the Pen is awesome as always. But first, before I get into the plethora of topics that I have on tap for today's show, I just want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon page. If you could become a patron of ours, that would be fantastic. It'll be in the description below. What you do is, pledge $1 a month. That'd be great for us to become better for you. And then in doing so, you are rewarded with exclusive content only for your ears. So if you choose to do that, that's awesome. Thank you very much. If not, you'll still be able to get Behind the Pen and all the other awesome, most valuable podcast content out there. But anyway, before I get started, as always, I would like to get into some news around all of the sports realm before I get into the topics that I have on hand. In the NHL, the San Jose Sharks are in the Stanley Cup for the first time in franchise history. So congratulations, San Jose Sharks fans. I hope you are happy with the team that they have this year. It's going to be a good one. They're awaiting the winner of Penguins Lightning, and they're playing tonight as I record this podcast, May 26th. Those two teams are playing in Game 7. What a series it's been so far. I'm personally rooting for the Lightning, but whoever wins that, it doesn't really affect me because my Hawks lost in the first round, so I'm just happy the Blues got eliminated. So good job, San Jose. Looking forward to the Stanley Cup. It should be a good one. And that's about enough hockey I got. That's it. That's about it. Anyway, all right. Moving on to the NBA. NBA playoffs have been pretty shocking to me, honestly. Going in, I figured it would just be an automatic foregone conclusion that each Eastern and Western Conference Finals would be Spurs, Warriors, and Cavs, Heat. But the Heat and the Spurs got eliminated, and now it looks like OKC might even eliminate the juggernaut Golden State Warriors, the 73-win franchise or NBA wins leader in history. They're about to be knocked out. OKC's up 3-1, and you know what? I'm not entirely surprised because they've come up with a game plan to stop Steph Curry, and it's unbelievable to watch Russell Westbrook go in, take control, score 30 a night, absolutely dominate in the second half every single game. And then you have a complement of Kevin Durant next to you who can just be the guy for you if Russell Westbrook struggles. And then they have consistent down or front court presence on defense. They're able to shut down Draymond Green. They're forced to take ugly looks. It's just what they're doing in OKC right now it's a lot of fun. And I don't know. I was all for Golden State, and a lot of people aren't going to take them until they get, they're not going to pick against them until they get eliminated. But I don't know. I really like OKC right now. I think they got to be the favorite. 3-1 over, the 70. Oh man, this is unexpected to say the least. And then in the East, we have Cleveland up on Toronto 3-2. Cleveland looked like they were unstoppable, sweeping through two subpar playoff teams, to say the least. But they run into a little challenge here in Toronto. Toronto's putting up a good fight. I'm still picking Cleveland. I know. I'm going out on a limb. That's a crazy picking Cleveland here. But I think it's just going to be Cleveland and then whatever happens in the West in the NBA Finals. So that'll be fun. We'll keep an eye on it. If you want more conversation in the NBA, you got to keep it to Most Valuable Podcast because Ricky and Sean do a great job of breaking down each matchup and talking about the playoff series more in depth. So stay tuned here. You got everything you need. In the NFL, I want to talk about the Buffalo Bills, some headlines going on there, and it's not good stuff because their first-round pick, Shaq Lawson, needs shoulder surgery, and he might be out for the better part of the season. Well, maybe halfway, more than half. So that sucks. And, Shaq Lawson, he was a guy the Bears were targeting, and a lot of people were hoping that he would fall to the Bears, but good thing he didn't, because we have Leonard Floyd in the first round, which I'm excited about, and who looks very exciting, or, looks pretty good so far. And then on top of that, Sammy Watkins needs foot surgery. So he's going to miss the preseason. I don't know if that'll be a big deal, but, it still sucks seeing your best wide receiver getting hurt and having to miss time. So keep an eye on that there. It sucks for the Bills right now, but I still think they'll be a good team. Elsewhere, I saw this today, and it was kind of interesting. And it was Devin Hester, who I believe is going to be a future Hall of Famer, the greatest kick returner of all time. He kind of commented on the changes, and he said that because of the changes, the NFL is taking jobs away from people. And if you haven't heard, kick returns are pretty much gone, I would say, because, the NFL is doing its thing to try and prevent injury. And I guess the study's shown that a lot of injury, well, we've seen it in the past. We saw that guy from the Bills get paralyzed on a freaking kickoff, and guys getting lit up constantly, blindside blocks and all that stuff. So they're trying to eliminate most of it. But what they're doing now is they're first kicking the ball off at the 35-yard line, which almost guarantees almost every single kickoff through the back of the end zone, because kickers have, strong legs this year. But, now what they would do is pop kick it, and they would just strategically place kicks. I don't know, more, whatever, special team stuff will happen there. But if you touch back, it comes out to the 25-yard line instead of the 20. So that'll totally change the dynamic of kickoff returns. And Devin Hester's pissed about it. He says he's, taking away jobs from people. So, well, that's your Devin Hester highlight headline of the day. So interesting, I guess. Kind of cool. So I just wanted to bring that up. All right. Well, that was around the league for you. Before I get into the topics, it was just quick, just a summation of what's going on as I record this podcast. But what do I have on tap for today? Boy, whenever I get a chance to hit on the Bulls and kind of bitch about them, I'm going to take that chance and opportunity, because once again, the Bulls are showing their underskirts on how they run their organization. Joakim Noah, a guy, his value has diminished over the years, last 2 seasons, has pretty much said that he's not coming back to the Bulls. And his reason, or reasons, relate to the front office and the lack of trust that he has with them. Which, wow, another person saying that the front office sucks. And this is a big-time player. Joakim Noah, despite his offensive lack of production, has been the heart and soul of the Bulls throughout his entire career. He was drafted by the Bulls, if you'll remember, obviously, played, really well, honestly, under Tom Thibodeau. And now, as he entered the season with Hoiberg in his new system, it got off to a rough start right away. He wasn't able to play the type of basketball that he's used to under Thibodeau. Kind of changed the system around, because, he was more of a ball-handling center who, if you paid attention, was a very, very good passer. So they would often line him up at the top of the key around the free throw line, and then he would be the guy to set up the offense. And over again, you saw him dribble the ball up court, and a lot of people were like, no, don't do that. But he knew what he was doing. But now, going into this season, he's coming off the bench, and that kind of hurt him. Well, it did hurt him a lot. Hurt the trust between him and new coach Fred Hoiberg. It was off to a rocky start to begin with, and then he got hurt a lot, and then he tried to come back. He fought through injury, got hurt again, had to forced to miss the season. Yeah, like I said, he wasn't able to score a lot. He was missing open layups and all that jazz. But what concerns me more than the lack of production on offense is the value that he brings in other facets. He was the guy, as I mentioned. He was the guy in the locker room that was Joakim Noah's locker room. And then slowly but surely it turned into not his anymore, which sucks for him. And quite frankly, for the entire organization, because now Jimmy Butler self-assumed himself as the leader of the Chicago Bulls pretty much without anybody consenting him. He just straight up said, listen, this is my team. They signed me. They let Carmelo go and sign me because I'm the guy who could bring a championship to the Chicago Bulls. Well, that kind of rubs people the wrong way. And the way he went about it, too, we're talking about Jimmy Butler, kind of hurt. It wasn't a way a leader establishes himself as a leader. You as a leader, you just do things and people follow your lead, and that's how you become a leader. You don't just say, I'm the leader. This is my team. Watch me do things on the court. Just give me the ball. I'm not going to freaking run your offense, Hoiberg. Just, practice us harder. You're not practicing us harder. That's not a leader. Your leader's sitting on the bench, not providing quality minutes, and he's just got the back seat, and that sucks. It really does, because Joakim Noah, we saw it over the tenure of his career, heart and soul of this Bulls team. What we're losing in Joakim Noah is a big man. And that hurts because the Bulls don't have a big man. They're going to let Pau Gasol go. And if the Bulls try and re-sign him, Gasol is just going to walk regardless. Because why would anybody want to come back to this team? And now Joakim Noah's gone. So you have nobody. You have Cristiano Felicio, who I liked a lot, but he's nothing more than a backup center. I was very encouraged on how he played in his first season as a Bull. 23 years old. He provided some size down low, was able to get rebounds. His offensive game needs some work, but he's not a starting center for your team, so they're going to have to look elsewhere. They're going to have to look in free agency, and I'll get into some of the names in a minute. But I still want to talk about this Joakim Noah thing, because we saw it. We've been watching the Chicago, for as long as the Chicago Bulls have been run by John Paxson and Gar Forman, we have seen so many instances of incompetence. And you could go back and listen to my first ever podcast, and I talked about all the trades and the lack of execution in the free agency period. I mentioned all of it. So I'm not going to get into it again, but we all know that these guys can't run this organization. This isn't going to happen. They walked right into a first-round draft pick that fell right into their laps in Derrick Rose. And now, what is going on? What is the direction of this team? And you know what? Joakim Noah, for him to say that he has no trust in the front office, and for him to say he has a problem with the way Jimmy Butler asserted himself as the leader, there's something wrong going on here. And if Joakim Noah thinks that way, other players have to think that way. And you have no chemistry in a locker room, you lose your biggest piece in the locker room, you're not going to have much success. And I don't care what you say, the value of players who are talented are enough to win a championship. No. There has to be some cohesion. They have to be a unit. Look at Golden State. Those guys play in unison. So this hurts. This move hurts more than meets the eye. I'll tell you that right now. Because Joakim Noah does provide value. Joakim Noah provides what the Bulls lacked a lot last year. Last year, they had no energy. We saw it over and over and over again. How Fred Hoiberg, post-game, would say, there wasn't enough energy. We just need to play with more energy. This is, we had a good practice, but there was no energy on the court today. After they're giving up 30-point quarters consistently, they're not running back in transition. They're playing for the next offensive possession instead of playing on defense. So there was no energy. Joakim Noah brings that. He also works very hard down low in getting rebounds and offensive rebounds. Another area where the Bulls lacked very, very mightily last year. They couldn't get a freaking board, and it was pathetic. And now Joakim Noah, who was their lifeblood on defense down low and was there hustling, getting boards, consistently, they're going to miss that. And honestly, if the Bulls wanted to re-sign Noah, I'm sure they could have. And it would have been at a decent value too. They wouldn't have had to break the bank for this guy, obviously, especially with the injury history he's had. So this really hurts. This hurts. They're going to have to spend in free agency now. And I want to go back to Noah struggling on offense real quick, because I think it did have to do with Hoiberg's offensive system. They weren't feeding to his skill strength, his skill set. They weren't doing that. So we saw it. We saw Joakim Noah. We saw him have really, really good seasons under Thibodeau. But, obviously he's getting older. He's a different player now, but he still provides value, and this sucks. This really does suck, because the Bulls front office is once again showing their incompetence. There's just no other way to say it. So let's look at the names that the Bulls may look at in free agency. They might have to draft a center. We'll see. I mean, they still have Bobby Portis and Taj Gibson for another season and Cristiano Felicio, but Bobby Portis isn't a 5. You know, he's a 4, but he's more of a stretch 4 because he doesn't play down low. He likes to shoot. He barely passes. I mean, we saw that, but that has nothing to do with it being a stretch 4. But what I'm saying is he's working on his game, which is fun. We saw it. Down low, he was able to do some things, but you saw him take that 12, 13, 14-foot jump shot, and he could hit it, sure, but like I said, they need a big man. They need a guy to complement Taj and Felicio. So who could it be? Al Horford, he's going to be 30. He's going to be unrestricted free agent. Hassan Whiteside, I really like him from the Miami Heat, but I'm sure Miami's going to try and re-sign him and going to give him what they think he deserves, which is a lot of money. And I don't know if the Bulls are going to be willing to dish that out. And regardless if they do, he'll probably just stay in Miami because why would he leave? It's a beautiful city to live in. The Heat are pretty good this year. You know, they made it to they made a decent run in the playoffs. You know, so he could be a cornerstone of that franchise, and I don't know if he would like to leave. So we'll see what happens there, but he's a name. Andre Drummond, he's a restricted free agent, so you know Detroit has an opportunity to match any type of offer that other teams throw at him, and I don't see him leaving either. Dwight Howard, God no, stay the hell away from Dwight Howard. No, maybe Al Jefferson. He's getting old, but you know he provides some offensive value down in the center position. Overall, I'm just really disappointed once again with my Chicago Bulls, as the front office can't do anything right. And they're allowing guys like Jimmy Butler to assert himself as the self-proclaimed leader and pretty much destroy a locker room. And then you have Derrick Rose, who, by the way, I want to bring this up as well now that I brought up Derrick Rose. What the hell is going on with the Bulls medical staff? We saw it throughout the year, and we saw it throughout Derrick Rose's multiple comeback attempts. You know, multiple team doctors is saying, even with Jimmy Butler, yeah, they're good to go. Even with Taj Gibson, even with Joakim Noah, yeah, they're good to go. And then one guy comes out 5 minutes before the game or after shoot around, they're like, yeah, nah, you know, he can't play. He's listening to his body, so we got to sit him. He's not ready to come back yet. What the hell? What is going on in this franchise, man? I just don't understand. And again, they're letting Derrick Rose do whatever the hell he wants. They're letting Jimmy Butler bash a hand-picked, brand new head coach a first week into the season. They're sitting on the sidelines as one of your best leaders and top talents in Joakim Noah is just getting thrown out. So, you know what? Forget it. You know what? So, the future of the Bulls. One more year of Derrick Rose. Taj Gibson's going to be gone unless they try and re-sign him after this year. It's his last year of his contract. Jimmy Butler's still got 4 years left on that 5-year deal or whatever it was. So Jimmy Butler's going to be around for a while. I doubt that they try and trade him. And if they do try and trade him, you got to go after the Celtics' 3rd pick in the lottery. But we'll see. I doubt it. But yeah, I don't know where the hell this team's going. And until Gar Foreman and John Paxson are fired, and I never really call for the heads of GMs because I'm not that smart. I'm not the guy who undergoes everyday operations there. I'm not in there, I don't see the everyday operations. But it doesn't take anybody with half a brain to understand that these two need to just get the hell out because they are no help to this franchise. They're not going to help them at all. But all right.